Okay. So I recorded like an hour and a half video, and then I found out that it wasn't recording the screen. So I did a bunch of edits here and everywhere. Well, I have the audio, and you have like my face talking about it, but it doesn't show the screen. So all the yellow, where do I start? Okay, let's just do a quick review of what it was. And green light basically means great job. Red just means, hey, I need you to go back in here and change, like basically copy all this text and then paste it again, because it's all anonymous and I don't know who it is. So make sure you change your display name here by going to user settings and then changing your display name here, just so we can keep track. And again, I have the same thing for yesterday as well. Just make sure. So yeah, I think Heather fixed this. So Heather, go ahead and delete this and then do a green light, and then I'll get rid of this. Actually, I'll just do that now. Boom. And then I'll get rid of this for now, and then let me take a look at what you did here. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I have an hour and a half. I'll put at the end of this video, I'll go through the 3 or 4 that are available right now again, and I'll go over the yellow lights, but there's nothing you can do. I'll add the at least the me talking. I'll add that to the end because I'm sure what I'm talking about is going to be important, even though you can't see the screen. It is what it is. Okay. So green light basically means good to go, great job. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go through. I think this is Heather. Yeah, excellent. So now I'm just gonna go through the 3 or 4 that are available that I didn't go to once I realized that the computer wasn't recording, and we'll just go through here. Let's take a look. Oh, this is fantastic. Great job. Let me zoom in a little bit just so I can see. Great job. Look at all these abstractions. This is fantastic. And then it's just powerful. And again, as we keep moving forward, it's like it'll take less and less. But I mean, this is fantastic. I do recommend I'm going to go ahead and flag this here. I'll put a little add a reaction up hand. There we go. And then I'll put this yellow light. And so if I do a yellow light, it just means that, hey, just take a look at this. And this just basically means put a summary here. Just summarize here. And the reason for that is because then you don't have to open this block unless you have to. Yeah, add that summary there. This looks phenomenal. This is fantastic. Again, shift click on this and it's right there, right where you need it. And you don't need the colors, so you did fantastic work here. I'm going to shift click open permanent notes in the sidebar and just take a look. I'm still kind of annoyed that I lost all that video. I mean, I have this video, right? But I don't have the screen video, which is kind of like, it is what it is. Over it. Okay, let's take a look. This is Heather. Let's take a look, Heather. Zettelkasten in Excel is a tool because it augments. Let's go thinking. Thinking. Perfect. This is phenomenal. Great job. Zettelkasten, working environment, writing, thinking. I mean, this is great. I would even add like add more relevant notes like decision making, thinking involved in decision making, frailty of thinking maybe. Do you see what I'm doing? Serendipity of thinking, right? Trusting in your thinking, right? I'm just adding ideas. Purpose of thinking, completely different conversations. I'm just connecting ideas. Great job. Phenomenal work. Again, yellow light. So when you get done with this, when you just add a summary here, I'll go ahead and just go in here and do green light, and then when you do that, I'll get rid of this yellow light, if that makes sense. Cool. Excellent. Again, this is just for I don't know whose note this is, so it's anonymous. So if someone can claim this, and then I can go through it. And let's go to let's go back to today. See, I did all these notes. I mean, but I guess I'll have to go through the ones that I did go through. Okay, this one was CRISTIAN. This was just basically, I'll just do a quick overview. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to post the other video because it's useless without taking a look at the screen. But CRISTIAN, what I was going to get at was this title. I was just looking at this and it was like, happiness, monkey mind. I mean, I get it. I get it. My question is there a more powerful index to connect happiness and monkey mind? I think there's a better word, but I'm going to leave it to you. I mean, you can leave it if you want. I'm just going to question it. And then if you're like, I'm just going to keep it where it is, then just do green light here. Just do green light. And I'll change this to yellow. I'll get rid of the yellow, okay? But for now, just take a look at it. See if you can find a better connection. And basically, this little emoji just means like, take a look. The work itself was phenomenal. Like, all this is great. I just feel like there's a better word for it. I don't know what it would be, but just think about this. When you're making this permanent note, you're going happiness blank, happiness monkey mind. I feel like there's a stronger word than that. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm just gonna leave it to you because I love what it's saying. And then this one was, let's take a look. This was WILBERT. Again, same thing. So this one was changed. Oh yeah, this is the reason. Your work was phenomenal. It was just, I feel like instead of it being a top level parent block, I feel like it could have fit somewhere that's already, like a conversation that's already going. Let me go and collapse everything. So these are like the conversations that are already going, and I feel like what you're talking about here could fit in learning, maybe, and then see if it can fit in any one of these, or maybe even, does that make sense? So I feel like there's a conversation that this permanent note can continue. I don't think it belongs at a top level parent block because it's what it's saying can easily be linked to something else. It can continue on a conversation. So this is like a little emoji is just pointing that out. And if you're going to do that, just make sure that you delete this entire permanent note and you start from scratch. You look at your fleeting notes, you look at your literature notes, then you open up the permanent notes page and you delete all this, you delete all this, you delete all this, and then you go back in and you go, does it fit under learning? Okay, learning, maybe understanding, maybe, yeah, something. Maybe learning, understanding, blank. But then now what you're doing is you're making a new permanent note that's talking to understanding, being informed by this. So it's not just move it. You can't just move it because you have to be because you can write any permanent note you want. You want to be able to talk to the note above it as a response to that, so you're continuing that conversation. But I'm gonna leave you to it. But I do feel like there's a better position beside. I don't think it belongs in a top level parent block. I feel like it would be stronger continuing a conversation. Unless you want to keep it as a top level parent block. If you do green light and you're like good to go, then it's good to go. I'm just gonna I can't, you know what I mean? Let's take a look at this one. Brett. Mindless consumption. Same thing as what I was talking with WILBERT. I feel like there's a more powerful connection inside one of the conversations that are already going. Let's go ahead and expand everything. I feel like there's a conversation that's already going that would be a little bit more powerful to fit this idea in. Maybe like learning mindless consumption or learning, do you know what I mean? Instead of being at a top level parent block, I feel like it does continue a conversation. And then also make sure to sort of alt or option drag in between the permanent notes and reference notes all the relevant notes, because that's really where the power is. You see how it's just the block reference here? So just drag in all the relevant notes, anything that's related to whatever your index is going to be. I know I'm sort of rushing through this, but I just spent an hour and a half going through it. I'll have it at the end of this video, but and then I'll timestamp it so you know exactly where to go. So at least you have the audio of what I'm saying. This one was Brett, same thing. I think I added these. Yeah, I added all these relevant notes. Oh yeah, just a summary on the fleeting notes right here. Again, take a look at the timestamps that I'll have as I went through the note that wasn't capturing the screen. At least you can hear the audio of what I was saying. Marvin. Yeah, same thing, Marvin. It's like I have the audio at least you can take a look at, but I don't have the screen, but I'm sure you can follow along. It was about this as well. Fleeting notes is fantastic. And then I think I changed tool. I think there was another word that maybe could have been used. So understanding note-taking tool is the conversation that I was continuing. But if you want to change that, you can change that as well. Just change this to a green light once you're done. And then I will get rid of the yellow light. And then Glenn, let's take a look. Yeah, this was just a summary at the fleeting notes phase. Again, I'll leave the timestamp for you for this as well for you, Glenn. Just a summary here. So that way when you're scanning by, it's like you have these summaries here so you don't have to open this block, which is going to be helpful when you're traversing through. Other than that, fantastic work. Your abstractions were phenomenal. Great job here. And yeah, solid work. Let's take a look at whoever's note this is. Yeah, this is anonymous, so I need someone to claim this, please. And let's go here. Okay, this is Rick. Rick is still working, so I'm gonna skip that. And let's go to Simon. Let's take a look. Let me go and close this in the sidebar. Expand everything out. Okay. Same thing, Simon. You know, I'm looking at the work. I mean, you don't need the colors anymore. It's only going to get in the way. Obviously, you know what you're doing. Obviously, right? Perfect, phenomenal work. So yeah, you don't need the colors anymore. It's only going to get in the way when we're traversing the Zettelkasten. Same thing here. Shift click on this. Boom, perfect. I'm going to go and shift click on permanent notes. Open this in the sidebar. Let's take a look. Delayed gratification. Let's see where this goes. Oh, look at that. This is phenomenal. Look at that. Structure, da-da-da-da-da. I'm going to do caps because, I don't know, I just want to. Perfect. Look at this. This is the conversation. It goes structure, working environment, motivation, delayed gratification. I mean, I love that. The only thing I would add, Simon, would be add more relevant notes, because these are all the breadcrumbs that we want to add, you know? So I go delayed gratification purpose. Let's add that. Hold Option, Alt, drag that under. Delayed gratification. Let's see what else. Oh, simple. Deeper delayed gratification. I don't know. It kind of makes sense. I don't know. That'd be interesting to fall upon. Aid retrieval through delayed listening to delayed gratification. Zettelkasten. Decision making. Delayed gratification and decision making. That's really cool, right? So if I click on decision making, it's like delayed gratification, huh? You know, it's interesting. Going through here, delayed gratification. The risk of delayed gratification, right? I'm just adding it in there. The happiness of delayed gratification, right? I'm just adding these notes because this is where the Zettelkasten is talking. This is what's going to provide us with the insight. Phenomenal work. I'm just going to do green light. Bravo. And let's keep going. Roy, let's take a look, Roy. Let's expand everything. Boom. Phenomenal work. Look at this. This is easy. Too easy. Too easy. Look at this and this. Boom. Shift click. Boom. It's there. Perfect. You want the information right there? You got it. Oh, look at this. Aid retrieval. Boom. Learning, retrieval, aid and retrieval. I mean, come on. This is phenomenal. So, and then, yes, you got, yes, look, this is what you want to do. You want to connect all these different things. Aid retrieval in conversations, aid retrieval in context, aid retrieval in structure, aid retrieval, deeper aid retrieval, aid retrieval and serendipity, note-taking aid retrieval. This is phenomenal. There's nothing. It's a green light, you know? And here's the crazy part. I didn't show anyone how to do this. I didn't show you how to do this. You just, you know, you jumped into the wild. I mean, yeah, I mean, I told you this is what you're supposed to do, and you're learning all these different things, but you're creating it. That's the thing. And I can't stop you from doing that. You have to go in there and just create it. And then all the variables that are going to come up, I can help with the form and the structure of the variables that come up, but there's an infinite amount of variables. And so, yeah, I mean, this phenomenal work. I mean, all of this, everyone is crushing it. I think Rick is still working. Yeah, Rick is still working. Forgot to put do not disturb on the phone. Yeah, excellent work, everyone. I'm going to add, I mean, what do? I'm going to add the video at the end of this video. At least you can hear it. And maybe I can just record my screen as I'm walking through it. I don't know. We'll see. Great work, everybody. Just look for the yellow. If you see a yellow light on yours and you've changed it and you're happy with it, click on the reaction and then click on large green circle. And if you don't see it, it just means you have to just type in green, and then you should see the green circle. And then once I see that, then I'll get rid of the yellow circle, and we're good to go. And red lights just basically mean, hey, this needs an owner. It's anonymous. So make sure you change your display name. And what I would recommend would just copy all this text, change your display name, and then paste the text, and then your name will show up. Excellent. Cool. And I'm just going to let this roll for a couple of more days, right? I want everyone just to sort of play in this sandbox, and then I'll finally explain how to actually do it. I'll go through like the lesson. But I want it to have it. I want to have it where you're just learning by doing it, by making the mistakes, and also learning that there's no one that's going to be able to solve these problems of complexity that arise except for yourself. And I feel like the best way to instill that is by allowing you to sort of be thrown into the ocean and learning how to swim. Does that mean? I don't want to be mean. Anyways, I'll add the second video to the back of this video. At least you can hear the audio and see my face, and maybe I'll record the screen. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's another hour and a half of just me walking through all these notes. Okay? Awesome. Bye. So I've been thinking about it, and this is what it comes down to. How do you make someone struggle through to find the answers? Because that's what it takes, in my opinion. It takes that sort of wrestling and thinking and critically thinking and problem solving. And if you put all those together, what it does is it gives that foundation of when you do solve that problem, because you will. You already know how to do all this. It's not unsolvable. And when you do get to that point, there's that sense of accomplishment. And there's no other way to instill that I can think of. And here's the thing, I'm probably the least qualified to do any of this, honestly, but I'm effective. So you're going to have to take that and make with it what you will. And I think there's strength in that, knowing that you're the one that solved the problem that you're facing. And it's really relinquishing my ego, relinquishing my control. I'm letting go. And in the purest sense, because the problems that are going to arise through complexity, the complexities that arise in the multiple, there's an infinite amount of variables that can happen. in Zettelkasten, and the complexities are going to happen, and I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be there. No one's going to be there. The only person that's going to be there is going to be you. And so if I can help instill that confidence in yourself now, I'm looking 6 months ahead. I'm looking a year ahead. I'm looking 2 years ahead. And for me to be able to see that far ahead with you in mind, I know that something has to, this approach of learning about a Zettelkasten has to be different. It can't be like, here's a syllabus and this is what you're going to learn. This is the simple structure. No, there has to be that sense of, like, if I was in your shoes, there has to be the sense of like, I'm going to figure this out. And whatever problems and whatever complexity arises, I'll be the one to figure it out. That's what I want for you. Where you're not dependent on anybody. You don't need anyone else to tell you what the answers is. You will figure out the answers. Or you will solve the problems of the complexities that will come. With all that being said, let's go ahead and jump inside the graph here. So what I've been doing, let's just take a scroll down. I'm going to look through yesterday. Again, the videos are up. What I'm doing right now is I'm putting emojis. So the green emojis, so the green circle, it's like green light. Green light means you're good to go. You know, I did a pass over through it and everything's looking proper and everything is looking, it's essentially thumbs up. Yellow, so this, let's just take a look here. I think this is JIGAR. What I'm going to do, yellow basically means I moved this block. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to JIGAR. Because this is a, when was this created? Let's take a look real quick. This was created, let's hover over again. Okay, this was created at 1754. Yeah, I mean, that's like not even close. I mean, right now it's 544. So obviously it looks like they just brought over their fleeting note. I'm going to move this back to JIGAR's page. And it really, it's about, you bring it over when you're ready to start working. And I'm going to move this back to their capture page. Let me go ahead and close this out real quick. And again, if it's yellow, it just basically means I moved it back. Like that. Let's see what happened. Boom. Okay. And let's do this actually. It's kind of laggy, isn't it? Okay. I'm going to move, yeah, I'm just going to move the whole thing over. It's fine. Perfect. Again, if you see the yellow, it just means that I moved that block for you, okay? Red, if you see the red dots, that just, everyone take a look. You know, if this is your note, right, you did a great job, but I don't know who it is. And if I hover over the bullet point, which usually shows you the person that made it, like this is Rodrigo, right? And this is Bart. So if I hover over this one, it doesn't show me who it is. It says anonymous. And I need everyone to sort of go into your user settings and change your display name so it doesn't say anonymous. And if you're using like incognito, just make sure you do that every time you pull over your captured notes. Let's go ahead and close this out. Again, I'm just going to leave them at the top here. If you're the owner of those blocks, please delete this text. So delete this text right here. Delete that text. And then when you do that, it'll change it to your name, if that makes sense. Let's just get ready to work. Let's take a look. Okay, this is Rodrigo. This is from yesterday, by the way. I haven't even gone into today yet. Let's take a look. It's kind of lagging. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I'm just going to zoom into the bullet point. Excellent. I'm just going to open this up. Expand all. Okay, I see what you did here. This is a question. I think I answered this question, yeah. In the case of taking notes out of a podcast, what is the best way to relate the parts? Timestamps. It's all about timestamps. if you can timestamp to the exact location of the YouTube video, if you Google it, you can figure out how to actually do that as well. And if you post that into the link, if you do Command K and you make the link, you can actually do it where you can timestamp the exact sort of time. I'm going to close this. Again, we don't need to do the colors anymore, just because it's going to get in the way. And obviously, you already know what you're doing here. Let's just see. Step by step for the whole process of writing a permanent note, have the conversation with the author, choose the place. Okay, I see what you did. This is great. And then let's open up the permanent notes. Let's take a look. And I do recommend everyone watches this video all the way through, just because there's a lot of jewels, there's a lot of diamonds in the rough in regards to there's an infinite amount of variables when it comes to sort of how the Zettelkasten works. So if you watch back these videos, then you'll be able to pick up, you'll be able to be informed of like, oh, okay, I see what doesn't work, what does work, if that makes sense. Okay, so this one says Zettelkasten. Let's go ahead and find this here. Okay, so I see a couple. I'm seeing duplicates, and I think it's just a misunderstanding of what this is. Let's just, okay, so this is definitely it, right? Zettelkasten. Okay. I see what you did there. This is perfect. Learning Zettelkasten. I mean, that's about as beautiful as it needs to be. Okay, excellent. I don't see anything else. I mean, this is fine. This is the YouTube video. I mean, literature notes, fleeting notes, everything's there. Again, you don't have to do the colors anymore. And I'm just going to go ahead and give it a green light. I like what I'm seeing. Let's keep going. And excellent. I'm going to go ahead and move this block down. Oops. There we go. That's Command Shift down arrow, by the way. If you're in the block, you can move it up and down. Excellent. Yeah, again, if you're the owners of these two blocks, please go and change that. And then once you change it, I'll change it to, I'll get rid of the red circle, and then I'll go through and review it. And let's go to today. Excellent. Okay. Let's just start from the top. Same thing. You know, change this, and we'll get through to it. Let's just take a look. Okay. BIRGITT, let's take a look. Bum, bum, bum. I'm going to zoom into the block. Excellent. Let's go to an expand all. This is great. I mean, everyone gets it. It's very easy. I love the abstractions. It really shows you how you got to these ideas. Phenomenal work. And then you summarize it here. Perfect. Literature note. Again, by the time you get to the literature notes, it's so easy because you've already done all the work. Phenomenal work. This is going to, let me just shift click this. Let me shift click this on. It's exactly what you need to be doing, you know, because what it is this has the block in there, the block reference, so I know exactly where this is going. Okay, with focus on writing, you turn into the active producer of your understanding. Let's take a look at this. It looks like producer here, right? Writing producer. The only thing I would, let's go ahead and capitalize the W just so it's congruent with everything else. I'm going to do it on both sides here. Oops. Excellent. And then capitalize the producer here as well. So writing producer, right? That makes sense. It makes absolute sense. And then over here, great job. I love how you changed it to the brackets instead of the hashtag. Again, it's just one of those things. These things are both connected now. And so if I click on this permanent note, it should only show up twice now. It should show up the permanent note itself. Oops, the wrong one. I clicked on the wrong one. I'm sorry. Oh, why is it not going to that one? Let's go back. I think I clicked on something wrong. Okay, producer with a focus on writing, with a focus on writing. Turn to the active producer of your understanding, right? There must be a spelling error. With a focus on writing, with a focus on writing, you turn into the producer of the writing or active producer? I think I messed that up. Let's go and get rid of that. There we go. Now they're connected. No? Okay, I must be doing something wrong here. Let's take a look. With a focus, look at all these. Okay, it's definitely capital W, right? And I think it's you turn into, I must have done something wrong here. Into the, there we go. There we go. Okay, so obviously, it is what it is. This is why it's very, I mean, it's important to be very particular as well. So now, if I click on this permanent note, the one that Birgitte just made, right, it should have only 2 locations where it's located. In the daily notes page, as well as the permanent notes page as well. And it shows you the exact location. This is going to be very powerful as we keep going forward here. Yeah, everything else looks fantastic. Let me just go back into this block here. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit so everyone can see a little bit clearer. And let's take a look. Okay, producer happiness, produce pursuit, producer motivation. Excellent. And don't be scared to sort of add as much as you want. I think this is fantastic. I don't want to dive any deeper into that. I feel like you got the, you got it. Excellent. Let's go back. I'm gonna close this. Let's go down to the next one. LITO. Let's take a look at LITOs. Boom. I'm gonna expand this. I really like doing it this way as well because there's no other way to see all the different circumstances that will come up. And I almost look at it, it's like it's 20% that'll give you 80% of the results. You know, it's like, let's go over these for however long it takes. I'm not sure how much, I'm not sure if it's going to continue until tomorrow, but at least so when you look back at this, you have this resource of what works and what doesn't work, and just, you know, learning through others. I think instilling that is going to be super important as well. Okay, LITO, let's take a look. Fleeting notes, perfect. Summary at the top. Literature notes, easy. Summary at the top, perfect. If I even hover over it, I know that the block reference is in there, you see? And that looks phenomenal. I'm going to open up the permanent notes page. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and change this to capital. And let's take a look. Let's look for discordance. Here we go. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to change this to a W. There we go. Again, just to double check, 2 locations, perfect. I wish there was a way to go back on this one. Hold on. There we go. It didn't work. Let's just go back to the daily notes page. And back into this. Okay. This looks great. Okay. We yearn to succeed in becoming proficient at thinking. So again, the workflow is, before he writes this note, he's looking back at where it fits. And if I go in here, it's going to be structure, working environment, discordance. And I love how you see how you don't even have to use the word inside of it. Just as long as this index, this hashtag, is a thumbnail describing what this is. And looking at things in that way is really what makes all of this powerful, because it's how do I put this? It's giving you a glimpse of what the larger picture is without having to dive into that. Only if you choose to, then you can find more about it. But the simplicity is in that sort of hashtag here. And I'm going to go and change this to a capital D just for the sake of congruency. Excellent. Discordance. And then algorithm and trust. Perfect. Again, and in regards to, you know, how many relevant notes am I supposed to drag over, right? It's such a, how do you answer that question? I don't think you can. I think there is no limitation. And in my own experience, it's when I first started, I was like this. I didn't do that many. And then about halfway through, I started doing a lot. And then once I started getting a lot of permanent notes, then I started being even more discerning. And I look at it like there is no right or wrong. It's a matter of what you think you would want to stumble upon later, or what you think are interesting relationships between discordance and any of the other indexes in your permanent notes. If that makes sense. This looks phenomenal. I don't want to dig any deeper. I mean, it feels like I don't want to micromanage anything. It's like, no, this is great. Let's go back. And I'm going to close this out. Again, if it's green light, just means, hey, I've taken a look at it. Everything's good to go. Let's move on. Yellow means I moved it, and red means take a look. David, take a look. I'm going to click on the bullet point to zoom in. Excellent. Okay, so again, I like to start from the very bottom here, just because this shows me how well you understand, because the fleeting notes and the literature notes is the work. Everything else is just connecting it. That's the easy part. But if I know that you're able to do the work, then it's like, that's the hardest part. And obviously, you know what you're doing. This is great. I mean, what else can I say? You close the bullet point, and that's the thumbnail. You close that bullet point, that's the thumbnail. This is great. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is going to link straight to the Amazon link, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, or maybe even, is this a Kindle highlight maybe? Read.amazon maybe, but it's perfect. I mean, you have the text here. And again, this is for your own benefit, because it's, if you don't need the text right there, it's hidden. But if you do need it, it's right there. And this gives you the link. What you really need is just the link. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start traversing through your Zettelkasten, and what you want is just the link, so you can quickly open this. Let's go ahead and open up the permanent notes page. And this is, okay, so David, what you need is to add the index at the top level parent block on relevant notes. And the reason is that then it'll connect it. So let's take a look. By asking deep and insightful questions, let's go and find where this block is. There we go. Retrieval, right? And learning, retrieval, right? So I'm just going to go in right here. I'm going to do double brackets. Let's do retrieval, right? And now this is connected with the daily notes page. So the permanent notes page is connected with the daily notes page. And if I click on retrieval, there's only two places where it comes up. The daily notes page where it was created, and the permanent notes page. Now, what happens if you have multiple hashtags with the same word? Then both of them will show up. You know what I mean? And that's the interesting thing. It's really, it cleaves away at everything that's unnecessary. And I feel like one of the most difficult things is that the biggest misuse of Rome is this idea that you just bracket everything. And then what happens is you have to somehow query or filter out to find the thing that you need. And I'm sure it works, but you have to know what you're looking for, in essence. And with a Zettelkasten, you don't know what you're looking for. You're just serendipitously connecting these ideas. So when you do, or let me say this again, with a Zettelkasten, what you're doing is you're setting things up so when you do begin to traverse the Zettelkasten, you can serendipitously stumble upon disparate ideas. And that's the magic, that's the insight, that's the creativity, that's the aha moments. You're like, oh my goodness, how did these things connect? And if you can see everything on the page, then it makes everything so much easier. I'm going to go back. I think that makes sense. I feel like I explained that pretty well. This is great. Again, I'm going to get rid of the period here. It's just, what are you going to do? Boom. Excellent. Let's take a look. Learning and learning. Okay, so this is interesting because the thing is, this index, who is this? Okay, this is Brett. This index, so it's learning, learning. So if you look at the two indexes, you go, I'll wait. Let me wait till I get to Brett's, and then I'll dive into it. But this is great. So learning retrieval, that makes sense. There's a connection, and then so basically what you do is this. I'm gonna cut this for a second, right? So you start. So even before this is not here, right? You do not do this yet. You do your fleeting notes, literature notes. You have all this set up, and then you open permanent notes in the sidebar, and then you look through the Zettelkasten and you go, okay, being informed by all three of these legs, where do I want to continue this conversation? And you go down, and it looks like, okay, learning, I feel like it deals somewhat with, and you're like, and then you go learning, and what's the next word after that? Retrieval, learning retrieval, perfect. And then you come in here and you write out your permanent note, if that makes sense. And it's so, it almost feels unruly. It almost feels like, but wait a second, this isn't right or wrong. And I think that's the point. It's not right or wrong. It's just a note. And one note doesn't mean anything. It's the entire connection of notes that means something, and how they connect, and all the different ways that they connect. And remembering these notes by having all the fleeting notes, literature notes, and reference notes, and permanent notes connected. Anyways, I'm belaboring the point here. Learning, retrieval, perfect. It looks like you have two different things here. Let's see if I can add anything else. So when I see the word retrieval, I'll just start from the very bottom of the list, and I go mindless consumption, no, I don't know what's going on with this one. Thinking retrieval, happiness retrieval, monkey mind, facing death, let's keep going. Fear retrieval, note-taking retrieval, let's go and add that in there too. Let's see, why not? Note. Okay, I see a double note-taking here. I'm not sure. Understanding retrieval, serendipity retrieval. Serendipity for sure. Excellent. And let's see what else. Discordance, trust, structure, pursuit, context, conversation. How about retrieval of conversations, right? That's cool, right? Conversation retrieval. Like, what if there was a way to do like that's what I mean. It's like, just look through all the indexes and go, is there a connection between retrieval and any of the other indexes? And if there is, just drag it over. Alt option drag it over, or right click, copy block reference, and then paste it here, if that makes sense. Yeah. And again, because everything is hidden behind the block, you can do as many as you want. I'm very liberal in regards to how many I do. I mean, just because I want to stumble upon it. I want to leave as many breadcrumbs as I can. Excellent. Green light, good to go. Great job. Let's go ahead and close this. Okay, let's take a look. Sylvia, let's take a look, Sylvia. All right. Again, you don't have to do these colors anymore, Sylvia, just because it's going to get it's going to cause a minor friction when we start traversing through these notes. With colors, it's sort of, I mean, humans are sort of entrained to see colors and discern colors. And so what happens is it switches our context, it switches our focus. And in a Zettelkasten, you want to be able to minimize the amount of decision making as you need to do. Is this important? I see color. Is this important? And that's a decision. It's a small decision, but those things add up. Let's take a look. Fleeting notes, excellent work. I mean, you get it. I mean, you don't even need the colors because you already understand it. You already understand how to do it. And then obviously by this time you're like, I already understand the point. Summarize right there. Great work. Literature notes, same thing. This seems like a lot of text that I feel like would be better situated inside of here. And the reason I say that, Sylvia, is because you want to be able to quickly understand what's inside. And this is what it does is it causes, you want it to be a thumbnail. And this one is more like a wallpaper. Or it seems like a medium resolution instead of a low resolution. Like if this was high resolution, right, with all the notes in there, that's like high resolution. This is like the huge like 25 megapixel photo, right? This almost feels like it's not small enough for a thumbnail. And And I know that you want to put in as much information as you want to, but I think it's important to remember that at a glance, you want to know what's inside. Because what it is at a glance you want to know what's inside, because then you can quickly look through and find what you need. It's almost like this. It's like this. Here's a good analogy, right? You're in the kitchen cupboard, right? And you're looking for the salt, you know, and it's like you have all these other spices and everything in the way that are in front of, and it's like you have to sort of clear away all that when all you want is the salt. And what you want is just the salt. All you want is just the salt. So it's like if you have it right in the front, it's right there. Now, if you want to find everything else, then you can, you know, have it. That's a bad analogy. Is there a better analogy? But I think it's that idea, though. You want to have it where the focus is going to be, if I need to go into it, I can find more information. If I don't, then it can just be a simple abstraction or a simple summary or a simple thumbnail. I feel like that makes sense. I don't know what happened here. These are, okay, so this looks like it was tabbed over. I'm just going to tab it back over. Let's just take a look. Yeah, it looks like it was tabbed over. Let's just bring it over. Bring it one more time. And I feel like this needs to come over and this needs to come over. Excellent. Yeah, there we go. Fleeting notes, literature notes, reference notes. Okay, this is going straight to the Wikipedia cheese model. Perfect. So let me just double check. Yep. If I click on the link, it'll directly take me to that page. That's perfect. I'm going to go and open up the fleeting permanent notes. Let's take a look. Risk. Let's find out where that is. This is great. Fear and risk. And I love how, I'm going to delete the period. Sorry. I love how yeah, this is perfect. Fear, risk. I mean, it makes sense. Facing fear. This is great. I would also, when you're bringing over the relevant notes, Sylvia, bring over ones that are sort of off the beaten path. So let's go far away and we go, maybe there's a purpose of risk. If I was imaginative enough, I could think of a connection between purpose and risk. I'm going to bring it over. Be deliberate. Producer of risk, conversation risk, risk in conversations, maybe. Structure risk, context risk, pursuit of risk. Let's see what, I mean, that's interesting. I'd love to stumble upon that idea again. Working environment risk, structure risk, trust. Trust is a risk, isn't it? Simple learning risk, retrieval, listening. Let me change this real quick. I feel like there's extra space. Okay. Listening to risk, Zettelkasten risk, decision-making risk. I mean, decision-making is definitely a risk, right? And this is what the idea is, not so here's fear, right, and risk. This is this branch. Oops, stop. This is this branch, if that makes sense. Let me go back to the block. Where'd it go? Hold on. So this is where is it? Fear and risk is one branch, and what I'm doing is I'm connecting this branch to this branch over here, if that makes sense. And this is where the Zettelkasten really comes into place, is because that's what we're doing, is we're sort of connecting these ideas with this idea so we can stumble upon this. So it's almost like flow state. So right now all we're doing is creating the note and connecting it, but we have to put on a different hat when we're going in and traversing the Zettelkasten in order to output it. And that's the idea. When we're doing that, we want to have this frictionless way of flowing through the notes, which we'll get into. But for now, let's just build this out and be liberal with bringing it over. As long as you can see a relationship between the index over here and risk, then drag it over. or I think you were having trouble with dragging it over, you can just copy the block reference and then paste it in. This looks fantastic. I'm going to go and do the green light. Perfect. And let's close this out. Okay. Sylvia, it looks like you have another one. Let's take a look. Okay. I'm going to expand everything. I love this, by the way. This is the whole idea. I mean, you got it. You got it so well. You don't need the colors anymore, Sylvia. I mean, you got it. You completely understand what this is about. Summary at the top. This is fantastic. Like, compared to the other one, this one's phenomenal. This is exactly what you want. I mean, it's 3 sentences, but it's like, it gets to the point of everything that's inside here. Same thing with the literature note. I mean, you can just basically forget everything I said because you obviously understand it. Look, this is fantastic. Reference note, and then this goes straight to the article, right? By Anna Hayward. You could even do this into you probably even do this into double brackets. Why not? Maybe you want to stumble upon that later. There's no, you can still use Rome's other functionalities, but this is fantastic. Permanent note. Let's go and shift click on this and let's look for, it looks like you didn't put the index up there, so I'm just going to find it by the permanent note here. Let me go and get rid of the period. It's just one of those things where it's, just, oops. It's just one of those things. Let's go, our happiness is connected to meeting. Let's go and find where this one is. There we go. Social expectations. Okay, happiness, social expectations. I mean, it works. There's a connection. Again, what I'm going to do is social expectations is right here. I'm going to go and put it next to the relevant notes here. So I'm going to do double brackets, social expectations. Perfect. And then if I click on this permanent note, guess what? It's only in 2 locations, the daily notes page and the permanent notes. This is fantastic. I'm going to go back into the block here. Excellent work. This is fantastic. Again, I would sort of, I see you have control in here. See, you understand that, okay, so this is control, right? And I love that it's on a completely different block. And let's go, again, this is the beauty of this, is that as long as you can see a connection, as long as you want to stumble upon this again later, then drag it over. Because purpose of social expectations, like, that doesn't really make sense, right? What's the purpose of social expectations? Well, I kind of want to stumble upon this, so I'm going to bring it over. And then when I click on this, when I'm traversing, I go, purpose of risk. What's the purpose of risk? What is this? And then I click on it, and then this sort of like, it opens up a new world. And that's the sort of serendipitous ideas, but what you're doing is you're setting this up for yourself for later. It's very interesting. It's an interesting way to work, and this is why I couldn't just tell you this is how you do it. You had to do it, just jump in. And purpose of social expectations. It's an interesting idea, and I would love to know more about it. And because it's all right there, I can. And you see how the colors kind of get in the way? Because now it's like, whoa, there's just so much. Again, it's just one of those things. You don't need the colors anyways. You completely understand it. Well, let's add some other things. So social expectations, right? And I'm not even looking at the permanent note, by the way. I'm just looking at the index because I know that this is a thumbnail of this. So as long as I connect this, then this is automatically going to be connected thematically. It's just a thematic connection. Carrot, bunny, rabbit, farm, garden, tree, land, ocean, water. That's a thematic connection. It's like you're having a conversation. Like when you're having a conversation, how does it go from Frosted Flakes to David Foster Wallace to the forest to feng shui? It's like, how does that happen? It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing that we're doing when we're putting in relevant notes, if that makes sense. Social expectations. Let's go conversation. The social expectations of conversation. The structure of social expectations. Let's drag that in as well. I see a double structure here. It's anonymous. Okay, I don't know what that is. Yeah, we just have to make sure that people don't make anonymous blocks, because then I can't help. Learning social expectations. That is interesting. So if I click on this and I go learning social expectations, what an interesting thing. And it makes you, it makes the conversation jump. How about fear? How about facing fear of social expectations? Right? And risk is a different block. Risk is a different branch. You see how these are sibling branches? So fear and risk is one branch. Fear and facing fear is a different branch. If that makes sense. So I'm going to bring over both. And that's good. I like how that looks. Phenomenal work. Let's go into green light. Excellent. Check, check, check. There we go. I'm just checking the video, making sure that's working right. Okay, let's keep going. Andy, let's take a look. All right. Okay, same thing, Andy. Don't need the colors. I mean, you obviously get it. We can take the training wheels off. Phenomenal work. Abstractions. You can follow the note all the way up. You get to the summary here. You're like, oh, I completely get it. You started with this, and then you went all the way down. You abstracted. Perfect. You're doing all your thinking, and you're having it captured. So that way, when I need to go into it, I can. Same thing. Again, you don't need the colors. You already understand it. Let's take a look at this. Perfect. If I shift click on this, it'll open that in the block. Let's take a look. Oh. Okay, this is acting up. There we go. Perfect. Looks good. And let's open up the permanent notes. Holding shift click. Holding shift and then clicking on permanent notes will open it up in the sidebar. Let's see, writing. Writing underpins any under. Let's take a look. Where is writing? Okay, writing. Writing underpins. Oh, okay, I see what you did. Okay, so let me just see this real quick. Okay, so it's writing purpose. So here, instead of writing, it would be purpose. So let me change this to purpose, right? Excellent work. So this is the purpose of writing. This is the writing has a purpose, or whatever that connection is. It makes sense. And it's thematically connected. Great work. And you brought over things that were connected. Purpose of learning, purpose of influence, purpose of the pursuit. Phenomenal work. You get it. And I would actually even do like even further ideas away from that. Like maybe the purpose of a Zettelkasten. Let's go and bring that over. What's the purpose of a Zettelkasten? What's the purpose of decision making? Like that's an interesting idea that you'd want to stumble upon. What the purpose of note taking, right? Why not? Let's just bring it all over. The purpose of fear, right? The purpose of facing fear. That's an interesting idea. So if I go into facing fear, so so don't even worry about this, but say I'm in my Zettelkasten and I'm looking for ideas to write about, or I just want to traverse and I want to write something or think about something. I just go, oh, okay, I kind of want to see what facing fear is like. And all of a sudden I go facing fear, facing death, facing fear, risk, facing fear, social expectations, facing fear, purpose. And then, wow, that's interesting. And I click on it and then you have all the notes. If that makes sense. And that's what we want to do. Excellent work. Let me go ahead and do this. Green light. Green light means go. Let's go back. All right. CRISTIAN, let's take a look. Bum, bum, bum. Again, phenomenal work. I mean, this is easy. Boom. It goes directly to the link. Let's take a look. Let's go to language, monkey mind. Happiness, monkey mind? Happiness, monkey mind. I mean, I see the connection. Is that the strongest Is that the strongest index that you can think of, though? And that's a capital. That's a capital I. Change that over here too. I look at it like, as long as you can see a connection between happiness and monkey mind, like, I feel it's a little. It's not grooving. Happiness, monkey mind. I almost feel like it would be better if it was like a different word or maybe a different location. I'm just gonna yellow light this for you, and I'm gonna let you take a look and see if it could fit somewhere else. And if you're gonna move this, you have to delete all of this. You have to delete that and this, okay? And then you have to look back at your fleeting notes and literature notes, and then you find another place where it would fit. I think it would be like learning difficulty, maybe, or learning understanding difficulty, fear. Do you know what I mean? Because the language doesn't hurt. The way how our minds take things, it does. Don't forget that you are the master. Don't be the slave of your thoughts. I get what you're saying, but I feel like there's a stronger connection. Maybe it's the word. If you're going to keep this location, I would change the index. Right? And if you're going to move the location, write a new permanent note. I'm gonna leave it to you, right? And then you just give me a green light, and I'll take a look at it. So you add a green light when you're done with it, and then I'll remove the yellow light. Okay? It just doesn't. It doesn't. If I'm looking at this and I go happiness, monkey mind, I think of happiness, and that's one thing. But monkey mind, maybe thinking monkey mind, or you know what I mean? Maybe a different location. Maybe it would fit better under thinking. You know, the connection between happiness and monkey mind just doesn't seem as strong, if that makes sense. So I'm going to leave that yellow for you, okay? This is why it's like, how do you explain that to people? You know, how do you explain these things to people? It's like, no, it's a case-by-case scenario. Okay, CRISTIAN, let's take a look. I'm going to expand everything again. Okay. Perfect. I mean, this is, I mean, I don't even need to say anything. You get it. Happiness facing death. Let me read. That's an interesting permanent note. And I think your personality is definitely coming out of it. And I'm just going to keep it. I love it. The location is the location is strangely interesting. The happiness of facing death. But I read the permanent note and I get it. All the things you need in order to be happy are in the way you see and think in your world. Contemplate death, mold your personality, and prepare yourself to enjoy life. I mean, that works. And yeah, I'm going to go up to the top and let's go. I'm going to add more ideas here. Purpose of facing death. Learning to face death. Why not? Frailty of facing death, right? Fear you already got. Facing fear you already got. Yeah, This is great. This one's phenomenal. It's so interesting to learn from other people. This is interesting. And if I follow this down, guess what? I can see your ideas. Oh, death is a motivator, not a chore. It's so interesting because I was actually thinking about this too last night. It's like, if I died right now, would I have done enough? It's so interesting. And it was like, I had a sense of happiness. I was like, yeah. Like, all these videos I've recorded, it's like, yeah, actually I would be. It's kind of morbid, but you gotta face death. It's true. Let's keep going. Steve, let's take a look. Okay, I'm gonna expand everything out. Okay. Same thing, Steve. Probably don't need the first pass anymore. You obviously understand how to do this. And the colors are gonna start getting in the way once we start building things out. When we start traversing. This looks phenomenal. Summary at the top. Let's close that. And again, I love this because by the time you got to this point, you're like, I already know what the author is saying. You've done so much abstractions in the fleeting notes. By the time you get to the literature notes, it's a cakewalk. This is great. It looks like you did a block embed. Let's see this one. Okay, so this you actually did something interesting. So okay, this one you did to the block, and then you did a block embed. It looks like of it. I'm just going to recommend that, let me shift click into this. Complexity is the issue. I would do this, copy this block reference, right? And instead of just going to the page here, this is what I'll do. I'm going to get rid of the double brackets, right? This is the chapter, this is the page, right? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Command K, make it into a link, and then paste the block reference, right? And so now, instead of going to the page, which it could be anywhere on the page, right? Now if I shift click on this, it goes directly to the block that you're referencing, if that makes sense. It just makes it easier when people are traversing through, they can go exactly to where this idea is coming from. Excellent work. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so you did a block reference to this. Let me just go and shift click, open this in the sidebar, and serendipity. Let's take a look. Where is this? Here we go. Okay. Okay, so what you did, do you see what happens though? It doesn't, okay. So instead of putting the block reference here, it's not connected. Because if I click on this page now, it only shows it in one location, if that makes sense. It's hard to go back to the daily notes. And what you want is, instead of the block reference, let's go and get rid of this. I'm going to do double brackets to this permanent note. And so we're going to write connections happen right there, right? And then now these two things are connected. This is connected to this. And if I click on the page, now it's only the two link references show the day was created and the location in the permanent notes, if that makes sense. Okay, let's go back to the note. And then this serendipity, the index, would live here at the top level parent block. And again, the reason, serendipity, right? And the reason that I do, instead of the hashtag, I do the double brackets is just because of the CSS. Highlight the text, double brackets, oops, let's do that again, serendipity. Perfect, now these things are connected. Now it's connected. And if I click on this, what is this? I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Looks like it's in someone's notes. We'll figure that out. But anyways, so this is connected to this is connected to this, and then you start dragging over the block references in between the relevant notes and the permanent notes, if that makes sense. This was great. Great work. And let's see if we can add some more. Serendipity. Purpose of serendipity? Why not? Let's do conversation serendipity? I mean, all the time. The pursuit of serendipity? Look at that. Let's add it. What else? What else? Learning, retrieval, listening, Zettelkasten and serendipity. Let's do that. Let's do Zettelkasten. Zettelkasten is all about serendipity. And that's good. Excellent work. Let me get some water. Ooh. Let's keep going. Okay. Wilbert. Before we do that, I kind of want to take a look at these because I don't know who's... These are wrong. Actually, this is fine. I'll just leave it. I'll leave it for now, and then I'll go through it. So again, please find out. Please double check, see if this is you, and then delete the text and make sure you change your user settings. Let's keep going. Let's go to Wilbert. All right. Look at this. Okay, I don't know why it has a double here, but let's keep going. Okay, fleeting notes. Let's expand all. Excellent work. I love this. This is great. Summary at the top, perfect work. Literature notes. Again, this is your own little workflow. I mean, I think it's fantastic. It fits. And then you close it. And again, this is what you want, where it's just simple. This is going to go straight to the block. Excellent work. Let's go and open up the permanent notes. Change only happens when the new work is part of an overarching interlocking. Okay, let's go change. Where is it? There we go. Change process. Change only happens. This is, I'm wondering why it has change process. Why you have a double hashtag there. I'm wondering why you're doing it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you figure it out. So I'm going to change this to yellow. Yellow just means take a look. I'm going to let Wilbert, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take a look and I want you to go, why is there two hashtags there? Is it change? And then could this note fit somewhere else? Could it fit underneath somewhere else if you look through the Zettelkasten? This is the whole idea. It's as we go through and add these notes, what we're doing basically. Sorry guys. Twitter notifications. That's why I put do not disturb. What I'm saying is, I feel like this could fit like inside a layer, if that makes sense. And it's a matter of looking through the notes. Like what I will do is I'll collapse everything and then I'll look through where it would fit. And I almost feel like, okay, looking at your work here, right? Let's take a look. It's almost like learning, right? Let's go learning. And we go, must be an overarching interlock for you. This is the thinking part of it. You want to place it right. And we go learning, maybe understanding. Yeah, learning, understanding. I don't know why there's double note taking here. We'll get to this. Learning, understanding, and then maybe in here it could be learning, understanding, change. And then does that make sense? Like it could fit there better than at a parent level, top level parent block. Because you want to, like, the reason that we create a new top level parent block is only because it doesn't fit anywhere else. Because there's no other conversation that it fits into. But I look at it like this information could easily fit inside one that's already, a conversation that's already going. And I'm just going to leave it yellow light for you. When you figure it out, just do a green light, and that's going to tell me that you've done it, and then I'll take a look and I'll get rid of my yellow light, okay? But other than that, great work. Again, you don't, like, this is confusing. I don't know why there's 2 hashtags there and why there's 2 hashtags there. The hashtag is supposed to be the index, which gives you a thumbnail of what this note is. And so you can use more than one word like mindless consumption, but having 2 hashtags is going to, it gets rid of the one-to-one relationship. It's less powerful. Because now you're saying, hey, it can go here or it can go here. But it's like, well, which one is it? Well, you want to be able to know exactly what this note is saying. So I'm going to leave this to you. For the moment, I'm going to get rid of process. Okay? Just to clean things up. But I'm going to let you come back to it and take a look, okay? Excellent. This is fun. It's like there's no way that I would have been able to sort of walk you all through this, because all the things are so subjective and they're so like unique. Everything is so unique. Let's take a look. Okay, Brett. Let's take a look, Brett. Okay. Let me expand everything. Okay. Great work. This looks like a screenshot. I'm going to minimize the photo a little bit here. Great work. Okay, literature note. Okay, fleeting notes. Perfect. I love, you know, this is how I know that this is so powerful, is because everyone's, even how they abstract it is so different, you know, and everyone is so unique in that regards. But when you look at the lightweight structure, it fits because all it really is this. That's the fleeting note. Traditionally, that's what a fleeting note was. It was literally like a word or a phrase that would remind you of what this note was about. But with the power of Rome and with all the distractions around us, now we have a way to abstract it, but then hide it. So if we need it, it's there. And if we need the time to critically think about something and slow things down, that's how we do it. But then it's all right there in a phrase, which is what I love. Literature notes, same thing. Love the work. Let's take a look. This looks like it's going, let's take a look. How to read a book. Okay, so I think it's taking it to a page. Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is perfectly fine. I mean, I would much rather have had maybe, this is what I would have done, right? How to read a book, right? Double bracket that. Watch. This is what I'll do. Okay, let me just take a look here. Obviously, that's the note. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. You see this? How to read a book, chapter 1, the activity, and then you have it linked to this right here, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of this. Let's see what this looks like now. Okay, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, perfect. Now this is so this is what I'll do. This, I would do double bracket around that. That's going to take you to this page here, right? And then this, chapter 1, this right here, I would do Command K, make this into the link, and then this is actually looks like the link to your Goodreads stamp, right? And so what I'll do is I'll take that and put that in here, if that makes sense. And so now, at the very top of the parent block, you have a link to the page that you've made, but then you also have a link to the actual highlight in Goodreads. I think that's what that is. But that's the idea. You want to be able to just basically click on this and it'll open up exactly where this highlight is in Goodreads. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, on the block, you can have more than one piece of information. For instance, I'll have some of mine. I'll have the URL to the Otter transcript. I'll have a URL to the YouTube clip, and I'll have like you know what I mean? I can put more than one piece of information there. This is great. Let's go and open up the permanent notes. Okay, so I see what you did here. It looks like you made a block reference to inside the permanent notes, which is exactly what you did. Oops. And let's go to mindless consumption here. Okay, So this is what this is. So instead of putting the block reference here, let's do this. Let's do double brackets and see this permanent note. Let's add that here. Perfect. And now these two things are connected. This is connected with this page. This page is connected with the permanent notes page, and that's what you want to do. And mindless consumption works. It works. I'm going to get rid of the period just for shits and giggles. I don't know. I've started on that path, so I got to continue with it. Could this note fit somewhere else? I look at it like if I close this down, right? Could it fit anywhere here? Could it fit under learning, understanding, mindless consumption? I don't know if it would fit there. Writing, structure, no, I guess it kind of does fit there. But again, I just want to make sure that as you're creating these notes, Brett, is that you are looking through, see if it, like, because before you even write this permanent note out, right, before any of that's written out, all you have is your literature note, your fleeting note, and your reference note. And then you look, then you open the permanent notes in the sidebar and you look, I like to collapse everything. And then I just start going down. It's like, where could this fit? I almost feel like it could fit. We're more concerned with performance and with engaging. This is almost like, it could be under happiness. It could be under thinking, honestly. It could be under thinking right here. It could be under here, mindless consumption, if that's the word you wanted to use, or whatever index you wanted to use. Again, so before you go directly into another parent level, top level parent block, it's always good to sort of look through all the other notes that are there. So I collapse everything and I just go, does it fit under writing? No. Fit under structure? No. Does it fit under learning? Maybe. And then I'll look through all the things that are under learning. And then I keep going down the list, and then I find the best place. And then once I find the best place, then I write the permanent note. Or then I write the index. And then I write the permanent note. And then I connect it. And then I add the relevant notes, if that makes sense. Excellent. I'm gonna do yellow light, Brett. I'm gonna give you, just take a look and see if you can add this somewhere else. And if you're gonna add it somewhere else, just make sure that you delete this entire permanent note, delete this here and delete this here, and create, and basically all you're left, and then review your fleeting notes, review your literature notes, and then look through the Zettelkasten to see where else it could fit. If it can fit somewhere else, make sure that you're looking at the note above it. So if you go, okay, I think it fits under thinking, look at the note above it, and you're writing in conversation to the note above it, if that makes sense. And if there's nowhere else it can fit, then you start another parent level, top level parent block, like here, if that makes sense. But if it can fit somewhere else, add it there, and then that's how you can continue a conversation. So I'm going to leave it yellow light. So once you're done with it, oh, by the way, let's get rid of this hashtag you don't need. And so now it's connected, if that makes sense. Now these two things are connected because this is just a hashtag, right? And this is just a page. Now they're connected. So again, I have a yellow light. When you feel like you can move it, you do with it as you please. Add a green light, and that lets me know that you've done it. And then I'll go in here and change this yellow. Okay? Yeah. I feel like it could fit somewhere else. And if it's going to fit somewhere else, I really feel like it can fit somewhere inside of here, like to continue a conversation. So I feel like this, even the index might change or it might stay the same, but we'll see. And then what you do is after you do the permanent note, expand everything, and then you Alt or Option drag over these, anything that's related to mindless consumption into underneath here. So it's like here, in between the relevant notes and the permanent notes. And you can add as much as you want, just as long as there's a connection between mindless consumption and producer, mindless consumption and purpose. And the further away the ideas and concepts, the better. And these are all breadcrumbs that we can stumble upon later. What I love is that I didn't tell anyone how to do any of this. It's called being thrown into the ocean. I love the questions. Just add another, I'm going to do yellow light already. Same thing. When you complete everything, just go through it. But you see this part right here? When I close this out, I don't know what's inside. And so this is why writing the summary right here, is important, because then it's like, I know what's inside. And once you start having all these notes, you don't want to have to click on things unnecessarily or see things that you don't need to see. And so add the summary here if you can, Brett. Abstractions are fantastic on the fleeting and the literature notes. Like, these abstractions are fantastic. The questions and everything like that. The summary here is perfect. And then let's go ahead and open up the permanent notes. And I feel like, again, these are just little nuances that it's just Rome, you know, and it's just learning Rome and learning how to use Rome. That's really what it is. I'm at an hour and 8 minutes. I love this. Okay, learning. Okay, so obviously it looks like you went down. The greater the effort. Okay, so this says learning. This is what's interesting. This is what I'd like to know. Let's go ahead and, first off, instead of the block reference here, we want to connect the permanent notes. So the greater, the greater the effort. See that? And now these two things are connected. This is connected to this. So if I click on the page, you see how it's only two positions in the link references. You have the daily notes page, where it was created, when and where it was created. That's for the GPS, by the way, and the location inside the permanent notes. Does that make sense? Let's go back. I think it was this one. Yeah. Again, you don't need the hashtag on the inside. It's just like that. Yeah. And here's the thing. So it says learning. So if I look at the hashtags here, before I create this permanent note, right? Before you create that, what you're doing is you're looking at you look at your fleeting notes, you go to your fleeting notes and your literature notes, and you go, where does this new idea fit in the Zettelkasten? And then you sort of look through, and then it feels like you were like, okay, I feel like it fits under learning, right? And then this index is going to guide you to what the permanent note is going to be. And so the word is, what is learning blank? Learning effort, learning deeper, learning effort, learning modalities, if that makes sense. And so I'm going to leave this up to you, but for now, I'm just going to change this to, let's go, the greater the effort you exert and the range of modalities you apply, the deeper. I'm going to do learning deeper, if that makes sense, right? I'm going to paste your same permanent note in there, and I'm going to change this to deeper, right? And so basically it's deeper learning deeper, right? And now there's a thematic connection, if that makes sense. And then now what I want to do is I want to add permanent notes to this. What's relevant to deeper? If I wanted to stumble upon this note later, how could I set myself up for success? And so I'm going to go as far away as I can. So I'm going to go to the very top. I'm going to go writing deeper. That makes sense. I'm going to hold Option or Alt, and then in between relevant notes and permanent notes, I'm going to have a block reference to writing, right? So now if I go to writing here, it'll have deeper, if that makes sense. And that's what we want to do. Let's go deeper conversation. Hell yeah. Again, make sure when you're bringing things over too, it doesn't get locked in as a child, but rather it's more like, you see how it's a child? You want it on the same block. You want it all siblings of the permanent notes. Let's go, I don't have double. Sorry. Let's add more. Deeper structure, deeper context, right? I see a connection. Deeper trust. Look at that. Deeper trust. Deeper learning. See, I already have that. Deeper listening. Oh. You see what I'm doing here? I'm just sort of adding these relevant notes, and all I'm doing is holding Option Alt, and I'm just dragging these over. And this is where the simplicity of being able to just add all these notes and go on to the next. So when you do stumble upon this later, it's like all these connections are happening. Understanding deeper, I feel like, why not? Let's just add it. Why not? You know? Deeper. Deeper thinking. Let's add that too. And now what we've done is we sort of added these ideas that are on completely threads of conversations, completely different threads of conversations. And then that's where, when we're looking for ideas and we're looking for this, when we have a blank page in front of us and we want to write something, all we need to do is go, you know, I want to write about thinking today. I click on the linked references. And then now I've got so many things to write about. Monkey mind thinking, serendipity thinking, change thinking, note-taking thinking, listening thinking, deeper thinking. And then I go, deeper thinking, what does that lead to? With one click, you have your fleeting note, your literature note, and your reference note to an idea about deeper thinking. Do you see the power of this? And this is why it's important to have these sort of, you know, because look, see how I did this? Let me show you one more time. With one click, I open this up, right? But if I don't have the fleeting notes summary right here on the top level parent block, then it forces me to click inside of here, and then I don't know what this is. You know, I have to read it all, and then it slows me down, when really what I want to do is I want to get to the information and jump, and then when I'm ready to dig, then I open this up. And then I open it up, and then I can read, and then I can remember what I wrote, if that makes sense. But when I close it, it's like I just need the thumbnail is all I need. And I think I hammered that home in. I'm going to leave it yellow light. When you're done finishing, you know, if you want to change anything, add the summary here, and then turn this into a green light, and then I'll get rid of the yellow light. Cool? Great job. All right, Marvin, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Okay. Fleeting notes, fantastic work. Aha! This is the best part. I love ahas. I'm gonna add a reaction. I'm sorry, but I mean, aha moments is what fleeting notes is about. Because that when I get to that aha moment in a fleeting note, that means that's the reason why I stopped, and I go, ooh, there's something here. And then I dig. Then I finally, and it's usually like the last line, and look what it is. Aha. You see? And that informs the summary of the fleeting note. I see you didn't even do abstractions in the literature note here. You just did one word or one phrase. I mean, if you think you got it, then you got it. I always like doing more. I always like adding like before I put the summary here, I like abstracting out what I can. So if I do stumble on this note later, I have a little bit more context. And that's what we're doing. We're sort of setting things up for our future selves. So when we do stumble upon it, it's like we remember all the aha moments. And this, I don't know what's going on. I don't know where your source material is. There it is. Okay. So what I would do is see how it's when it's closed like that. I'm going to do yellow light, by the way. When you change things and you add things, just change this to a green light, and then I'll get rid of the yellow light. Okay. So again, if you look back at Brett's, it's the same idea. It's like you want to be able to sort of have all the information at the top, and it looks like this is the website, right? And then this is tutorial. So let's do. Here's a better idea. You see this? Better retention, right? And have that at the top level parent block. And that's the URLs. And so if I click on this, I can go directly to the source without having to open this up, if that makes sense. Excellent. I'm going to open up permanent notes, and it says note taking. Let's take a look. Okay, it's not this one. Okay, so it looks like there's double note taking here. Let's take a look. So this is learning, understanding, note taking, right? But it looks like there's a double note. This is 225 at 10, 225 at 5. So obviously this note was here before your note, Marvin. And so if you have a similar idea, right, and someone already has note taking, then you have to think of either adding it underneath this note taking or having it learning, understanding, blank, right? And I almost feel like it's learning, understanding. I don't even think it fits here. I almost feel like this is what I would do. Let's go and do this. Let's collapse all. Taking notes is not meant for your attention. It's almost like this. What if it was like writing? No. It's learning for sure, right? Learning, understanding. I see where you're going. But it would almost be note-taking, and then it would almost be, instead of on the same block as note-taking, I would actually bring it one underneath it. So now it's going learning, understanding. Look at the CSS bullet points. Learning, understanding, note-taking, and then instead of note-taking again, right, it would be either not for retention. Let me take a look at your notes. What are you saying here? What's the conversation that you're continuing? It's not note-taking. It's understanding, note-taking, blank. Learning to understand, note-taking, better thinking, maybe. Improve thinking. Tool, note-taking tool. That's probably better. Let's do that. Right? So tool. So it goes learning. Let me hit CSS. It goes learning, understanding, note-taking, tool. I'm going to change this to tool. You see what I did? Because now it's the conversation's continuing instead of being note-taking, note-taking. It is a tool to improve thinking. Well, I don't know if that works. I'm gonna let you go back to this and fix, like, change either the index or change the permanent note. If you're gonna go back and change the index, make sure that you delete all this. Start over from scratch. Take a look at your notes, find the best position, and then think of the relationship between the notes above it. Learning, understanding, note-taking, blank. And I'm gonna let you go wild with it. But I got a yellow light, so I'm gonna let you overview it and take a look. And yeah, and also don't be scared to add. I'm going to expand everything. Don't be scared to add. Well, I don't know if you're going to change this index or not, but if you change the index, then add all the things that would be relevant to the word tool to the index. Understanding tool, conversation tool, structure tool, context tool. Working like structure tool, trust in the tool. Excellent. Good job. I think everyone's doing fantastic, by the way. I mean, considering I didn't give you any directions. You're sort of just jump in the water, let's swim. Okay, Carol, let's take a look. Excellent work. I mean, look at this. Phenomenal. Boom, look at this. Look at this. This is amazing. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, permanent notes, conversation. I mean, come on, does it get any better? Okay, I'm just gonna get rid of this little space there, just because, yeah, now it's connected. Just double check, perfect. I mean, She's got the touch. She's got the power. Look at that. Perfect. Again, don't be scared to, add more things here. Decision-making conversation, fear conversation, maybe the purpose of conversation. All right, let's see when this was created, though. Yeah, I mean, this is not too long ago. Yeah, you could add a whole bunch. Conversation, let's go. Pursuit of conversation, why not? I mean, be liberal with it. Trust in a conversation, right? Simple conversation. Listening in a conversation, right? Serendipity conversations. So don't be scared. Look how many are on here already. But the more breadcrumbs, it's always better. You can be as liberal as you want. I mean, once you get to the point where it's taking you forever to go through all the notes, then it's you're a little bit more discerning. It's only the very special ones that pop. But especially in the beginning, I like being very liberal with it, so it starts building out these clusters on the side. And then once these clusters are forming, then it's oh wow, I'm seeing this work, and that's the idea. This is phenomenal work. This is green light. Great job, Carol. Let's go back. Perfect. Okay. Glenn, let's take a look. Excellent. Okay, excellent work. Again, it's all about all of this is fantastic, but it's also the summary here, because when I collapse this, I need to know what's on top. I need to know what's inside here, and it's not, the biggest reason for this is for our future selves when we stumble upon this. What happened? Is this not recording? What happened? Where did I lose it? Oops, the video crashed. I wonder where it crashed, though. I have to do it all over again. Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Start it again. I mean, there's nothing I can do. It's kind of annoying.